The cardinal sin of physical media lovers everywhere is that we buy Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning on day one, and then it sits in the plastic wrap on a shelf for a year. But tonight, I have rectified it. I have freed it from its plastic wrap prison, and I have rewatched it, and it was good. It's not my favorite, but I'm going to say something controversial here. And it's not just to be contrarian. My favorite Mission Impossible movie is number 2. It's a John Woo movie. It can be very silly, and sometimes people dismiss it. But I think there's a lot going on there thematically that, let me explain, makes it more than the sum of its parts. So, first of all, I love it aesthetically. I love the vibes. It's the sexiest Mission Impossible movie. Everybody has year 4 Harry Potter hair for some reason. Ethan is hanging off a cliff at the beginning, just dripping in sweat. There's everything is foreplay in that movie. Whether it's between him and the female love interest, who he races sports cars along a cliff against, for no other reason than just it's cool and it's sexy and it is foreplay. But he has foreplay with the male character as well, the villain, where the two of them are kind of having a battle of machismo, almost like a dance-off. But what people might not understand about this movie is that it's not so much about Ethan versus a bad guy. It's a movie about Ethan versus his shadow self. The shadow self in Jungian psychology refers to someone's darkest impulses, their urges, who they become when they give in to the bad choices. So this is a guy who is a mercenary, who does what he does what Ethan does for money. And he lacks that ideology that Ethan has that kind of keeps him in a moral center. Also, subsequent movies would kind of dissect this idea in different ways by kind of making it so that there are no governments anymore and that his ideology was never really that solid. But this movie is about him trying to face himself. And they're both vying for the same woman. And she's not so much like, it's not so much about like that he loves her. It's more like if Ethan wins, she's purified and, sees heaven. And if his rival, Shadow Self, wins, she's corrupted and is sent to the underworld. It's very, very literary and operatic. And I just want to point out that it's like knights battling on a field. And I'll tell you why, because everybody points to the same scene when they criticize it. They're like the riding on the motorcycles was silly. Okay, it was silly, but also it's jousting. They are literally jousting. They are riding their motorcycles straight at each other in chicken style. And in jousting, two men ride horses at breakneck speed directly at each other. And one of them comes up standing and one of them comes up sitting, possibly dead. It's kind of a blood sport. But that happens in this movie and it's glorious. And you have to realize that it's rare. It's rare in cinema for something to be so stylized and yet also kind of cinematically translate the language of conflict in an interesting way. Not just conflict of the physical variety, but sort of that mental conflict that's happening within Ethan, the struggle for his soul. So next time you watch it, look out for this sort of interpretation. And maybe you'll go, you know what? That Breezy was full of crap. And fair. But watch it anyway. I also like the other ones a lot. Second favorite is probably Ghost Protocol. And then 6. Then 1, 3, and 5. And I don't even know why I don't like latch on to 5, because it's very good. And it introduces many of the characters that sort of like play out through 6, 7, and I assume 8. But I digress.